Have you checked the bearings in your motor lately? These were shot. I've already got these changed, but I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it. This is obviously the motor out of the Big Fox. I was sitting there messing around with it, and all of a sudden, man, what is this noise? The outer bearing fried. Of course, I didn't know that when I shot the actual video of the repair. But anyway, guys, I want you guys to know this is a simple motor. You got other motors out there with sensors and all that stuff. Most of the time, all that can come right out, and you can get to that back bearing just the same. Anyway, watch how I change this bearing out. Listen to this. Yeah, you can actually, well, I don't know if you can see it right here, probably not. When this was in the vehicle, you could actually see the movement. So yeah, coming apart. Now, most of the time, in my experience in changing bearings and all that, it's something to do with the front bearing. Now, all that motor noise, all that gear noise and all that you hear is usually coming from the pinion. And this right here is a big mod 1.5 gear. So all that noise is a vibration. Think of it like a speaker. A speaker is constantly moving. Well, this is constantly taking abuse like this. Just really raising hell with it. And all that noise comes through here and just beats the heck out of that bearing. You can see this pinion is already starting to wear. So that doesn't help matters either. So I'm going to go ahead and get this apart, take a look at these bearings. Motors are assembled differently from different manufacturers and all that. To get the front of this one off, you got to take those 6 bolts loose right there. To get the back off, you got these countersunk bolts right back here. So we're going to take these fronts off first. I believe that's where the problem is going to be. All right, let's see what we got here. Actually, break loose pretty easy. That's usually a sure sign you got. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, that's a lot of the issue. Now, just to be safe, I am going to go ahead and pull the back of it. When you take a motor apart, you got to make sure there's no shims or anything that come loose on here. That is an important deal. You don't want to add shims to them either. If you add them where they're tight, well, under expansion, you'll side load these bearings and you'll just mess them up even worse. So let's go ahead and get the back apart. With the back end out, see that bushing? Got to make sure you put that right back into place. And I'm pretty sure that bearing right there is fine, but we're going to test it out real quick. This is the rotor out of that thing. Slip this into here. Get that into there right. That sounds really good. Let's go ahead and try the front. Can you all hear that? There you go. It's all in that front bearing. Now, if by chance the back bearing is bad, you can try the hydraulic thing where you kind of fill it full of grease down into there. Then you kind of whack that using another, hopefully not your actual rotor, as a push. The hydraulic effect, it'll push the grease. The grease will then force its way on the outside of the bearing on the back side and hopefully push it out this way. On some cases that didn't work for me, as the grease just simply came through the bearing versus pushing it out. I actually had to drill a hole on the back side and oversize it with a tapered reamer. Then I was able to punch it out. So we're not gonna have to mess with that on this one. So I'm lucky on that. But when I do that, I just simply put some tape over top of it and I haven't had an issue. Kind of a bad way to do it, but if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. To knock this bearing out, I put these bolts in on the back side to bring it up a little bit, and we're going to use something like this to just simply hammer it out. The table may shake, things may get blurry, but using this, and it shouldn't really take a whole lot to knock the bearing out. You shouldn't need a sledgehammer or anything. You can see it's coming out right there. Looks like I had some sand under that thing, didn't I? Sand never helps. Old bearing out, time to get the new bearing in. And here we are right here. Now, do not put the new bearing in. Don't hammer it in the way I just hammered the old bearing out. If you hammer on the inside race, you can damage the balls inside the bearing. So you don't want to damage the balls. So if you're going to tap it in, make sure you put it like a large socket on the outside edge and tap it in that way. Or you can press it in. So either way, do not beat on the inner race because you could mess up the balls. To put the bearing in, I'm going to use this recess right here, as that only hits on the outside edge of the bearing. I'm going to put this over top of it and see if I can tap this down onto the bearing. I'm going to use the pinion gear to act as kind of a way to not mess up the face of this. This should not damage the pinion gear. Now, if you want to, you can actually put this piece right here in the oven and heat it up. That may give you a little more clearance, but you can also freeze the bearing. But I'm just simply going to give it some taps. Notice I'm kind of going around it a little bit here. You don't want to get the thing all off-sided and crooked and all that. You want to try to keep everything somewhat straight going in. Almost there. There we go. Now the bearing is there. It's still got to go in just a tiny little bit. So for this, hopefully I won't cause any damage because I'm going to try to do it flat right here. And as long as that bearing is made correctly, this should not cause any issues. And there we are. With the bearing set in place, I also noticed this brass has got a little bit of magnetics to it. Interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this put on. Give it a spin. There we go. The back was good. The front is now brand new and ready to go. All I got to do is just simply reassemble it. Okay, with all that done, let's see here. That's perfect. Haha. So there you go. Bearing size 8 by 22 by 7. And we'll put a link down below for them as well. Now, in the Super Baja Ray 2.0, like the Brenthal, that motor takes the exact same bearings as this one. And when I was doing this one, I kept thinking I have already done this one. But I actually put bearings in the one in the SBR. So this guy right here is now ready to go back in. Yeah, simple as that. Guys, thank you all for watching. Guys, if you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell. So, in the description, there's a link to become a channel member. If you want to become a channel member, it's a very simple $2, $5, $10, or if you really got some money, $25 a month. It's a simple way to support the channel. So, get that, and I am doing monthly giveaways for members only, so you might want to consider it. So, guys, here's those links. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you all for watching.